Hi, and welcome to the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. I am so thrilled today to introduce my audience to Kildamuzik. And let me just tell you a little bit about who Kildamuzik is. She is a rapper, a singer, an actress, a TV host. She is an advocate for social change. She hosts fashion shows, and now she even has she's in fashion. And there's so much more that we're going to learn about her today. So, welcome to the show.
Hey, you guys. Thank you so much for having me, Zach. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did some research on you, and it's like never ending of all the stuff that you've done. So, I have so many questions. So, first of all, tell me when you got started. I seen an interview where I think you got started at 5 years old. Is it been really? Is that when you got
Yeah,
started with a
yeah,
momager?
yeah, exactly with Momager. 5 years old, she took me to my first photo shoot, walked me into my first agency. I remember it was so funny. During the first photo shoot, to make me feel more comfortable, we brought one of my cats with me, and everything was going pretty well. And we were shooting outside, and next thing you know, the cat runs up the tree. The photographer, my dad, and my mom were trying to call the cat down the tree, and everything kind of just went left from there. So the photographer's like, okay, what do we need to give Kelda just to brighten her
Yeah.
up and make her feel happy, at least through the photos?
Yes.
And they gave me a bear, and I was hugging the bear, sucking my thumb. I was really
Yeah. Yeah.
shy. But yeah, it all started when I was 5 years old. And from there, just kept, going on auditions, reading for commercials, reading monologues, and it just
And
kept
is this
getting
something you
challenging.
wanted to do though? Like you discovered like, "Oh, I wanna do this and this is fun," and it's something like, "This is what I want my career to be," at a certain point?
I felt like it was a chore at first
Yeah.
because just, when you're a kid, you don't know what you're getting into. You just
Yeah.
think this is after school activity.
Yeah.
But my mom would literally pull me out of school to go on auditions. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's kind of backwards. Shouldn't this be after school? Why is this
Yeah.
during school? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. And were your friends jealous that you were doing kind of all this cool, like, stuff in the industry? Were they like, "Oh, I wanna be her friend because she's a star?"
They couldn't relate, actually. They
Oh,
didn't
interesting.
know. Yeah, they were just like, "Oh, you're okay, you're going where? Acting school? Well, we have a theater here. Why aren't you going here?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"This is professional, darling."
Yeah. This is much more than you'll understand.
Exactly, exactly. So, people who can't relate, there's only so much you could tell them.
So I have so my question is, of all the things that you've done, which is really fantastic, I think. What's the favorite thing that you've done in your career so far?
Oh gosh, there's just so many, so many. Right now I am actually enjoying the hosting and public speaking
Okay.
aspect of it, just because I have so much to say, and I'm a
Yeah.
great speaker. And I feel I can speak to anyone. Whether it's kids, teenagers, adults, old people, whatever.
Yeah.
And depending on what the topic is. For example, with my beret line Tams, I was
Yeah.
invited by a hair loss organization. I'm sorry, an alopecia organization called Boldly Me, and I came to tell my story, as far as how I came up with Tams. And I must have talked for maybe about like 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
everybody gave me a standing ovation. They were just so happy to hear what I had to say. So I'm really enjoying that part right now.
Awesome. I love that. I love that you went and you're doing like your fashion for alopecia. That's amazing that you just there's a cause behind it. So
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
you're a big social advocate also. Like that's one of your main things that I read online. So tell me a little bit about that and just how you're empowering women and how did you get
Definitely. Yeah, so I have a nonprofit called the Diva Outreach,
okay.
and the Diva Outreach is to give females a platform to showcase their art or to develop a skill in
Awesome.
art. Whether it's in the entertainment industry, or if you want to be an actual painter, writer,
Yep.
just a platform for you to practice it and to develop and hone your craft. And we're going to get to the point where we will offer this as an extracurricular
Yeah.
activity for females after school, or even maybe have it as a program in college, city college for starters. But either way, it's just kind of just digging into something, into a undiscovered talent of yours that you've always
Yeah.
had a dream for, but now's the time to pursue it.
I love that. That's amazing. That's great that I mean, just amazing. Um, so during your career, was there anything that you kind of like wish, oh, I wish I would have done that? Like, any kind of regrets that you have, like, oh, I passed on this, or I didn't do this song, or I didn't work with this person? Is there anything that you can kind of think of that you're like, I wish I would have done that?
Yeah, there's a couple of situations that I totally regret. One of them was I was flown to New York. Actually, it was a long time ago, and the promoter, it was an independent record label. The promoter walked me into MTV Studios, and
Okay.
I got to really see like where Carson Daly was doing
Awesome.
TRL and Times Square and all that stuff. And the label wanted to sign me, but I didn't like the direction they were going in. They wanted me to be more like a conscious artist, like one of those deep, profound lyrical artists. And that
Yeah.
wasn't me.
Yeah.
I'm more mainstream. I'm more pop culture,
Yeah.
and that's not a bad thing. That's just who I am. And in a way, I kind of regret not taking the opportunity because it could have opened doors for me and I could
Yeah.
have, branched out into who I originally wanted to be. But
Okay.
I was just kind of being hard headed, thinking,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? I want to stick on the right path, what I feel comfortable in doing. And I did that, and things are still great now, but hey,
Yeah. Everybody has those moments that we regret though. So it's
yeah,
not and where would you like to kind of see yourself in your career, like in 10 years? Like what would be your ultimate? Would you like to do
yeah,
I mean, I see you're really so you have The Hodges coming out, right, on
yes,
Amazon Prime, and so
yes.
acting is definitely something that you're great at, and so tell me about The Hodges, and if that's something you would wanna kinda pursue more as the acting piece of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's inspired me actually to start developing my first feature film,
Oh,
uh, just because of being on set every day and working with different actors and
yep,
and actually how quick the filming is, because it's not like being in a play where everything's just straight through. We actually get to stop and cut and take a look at this piece and make sure the coloring is right, the angles are right.
yeah,
So the Hodges was a great experience, and even aside from, Amazon Prime, we're looking at other platforms as well. It's one season that we have locked in already,
okay,
and everything it's creating a buzz online. And shout out to Mario Hodge. He's a very
yeah,
popular comedian for allowing me to be his wife in it. So
yeah.
it's definitely sparked my interest into really self-producing more TV film projects, and hopefully that'll either be later this fall when I start doing the feature film or early next year.
I mean, I think you're a great actress, from what I've seen online. I think you should definitely pursue that. I think there's something there for
Thank
sure,
you.
so just my own personal opinion, but,
Thank you.
um and so kind of what is your biggest dream if you had one? So would it, if you could just
Mhm.
say I could have one wish and this is my wish that I could have, what would it be?
Oh gosh, man, there's just so many wishes. I just want to be the ultimate entertainer. Call me for any and everything.
Yeah.
Call me for music performances. Call me to host your event. Call me to walk the runway at your
Yeah.
fashion show. Call me for any merchandising needs.
Yeah.
Like some of the idols, the people that I look up to, are like Kiki Palmer, Nick Cannon, Jennifer
Yeah.
Lopez, Puffy before his little situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
these are all people who started off as artists first, and they started branching off into different areas in the entertainment industry, but they still come back home to do music tours and to
Yeah.
do television shows, or even work behind the scenes. So that's why I'm just like a jack of all trades, the diva of entertainment. You know what I mean?
And Nick Cannon was a perfect example. Like, how many things does he have going on? I'm just like,
Yeah.
he is
Yeah.
so set for life because
He is.
he's doing so many. I see him on everything still, and it's just
Yeah.
it's crazy, and I love it for him because I think he's a great guy. So,
Yeah, definitely.
and kind of who do you look to? Do you have like somebody you look up to for like inspiration, or somebody you're like, oh, I would love to that they really kind of not your muse, but there's somebody I really look up to and I can learn from them, or whatever. Anybody like that in the industry that you think of?
Yeah, there's a couple people in the industry. For one, my business partner, Wendy Bell, who has
Oh,
been working with me since 2005. We started
wow.
our first company together, Gold Dig Entertainment, and now we have Diggs Media Group. She's really taught me the ropes of the industry, and her and I are just working side by side with each other with everything. And at first when we started working with each other, she was learning and I was learning, but we both learned together. We both struggled together. We're
Yep.
both jumping all these hurdles. over these hurdles together. So yeah, Wendy Bell, Wendy, she's the
Awesome.
best.
And if you could collaborate with anybody,
Hmm.
let's take it a couple of different ways. One,
Hmm.
if you could like from your music perspective, if there's anyone that you could collaborate with that you could pick, you had your choice, who would that be?
It would be Eminem.
Really? I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, Eminem's cool. I just like his style of music. You know, he's a lyricist, and he's one of those artists that he doesn't necessarily have to rhyme in his music. He just bends words and makes them
Yeah.
rhyme. You know, when you read it on a piece of paper, you're like, wait, that doesn't roll. Orange and doesn't rhyme together, but
Yeah.
he'll make it rhyme together. So,
Yeah. I mean, and
yeah,
he's been around for I mean, is it 25, 30 years? 30, maybe
yeah,
30
something.
years at this I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. He's been around for a minute.
Have
Totally,
you ever
he's
met
amazing.
him?
I've never met him. No, I've never
Okay, well,
met him.
maybe this podcast will somehow somebody will tell him about you through this podcast. You never know. So we've got a good amount of listeners a month, so you never know.
Hey, you never know. I'm
And
waiting.
and it sounds like you're really, kind of going back to the women empowerment piece. You're doing these great things for kids and stuff. So somebody that wants to get into the industry and do things like you're doing. So whether it's
Hmm.
it's rapping or it's music or it's acting or it's fashion, what's kind of some advice you would give somebody just to kind of go for it?
Yeah, I would say when starting out, focus on one thing. Focus on that one thing
Mm,
and learn from others who have a reputation in that lane. Go to as many event mixers, sign on to as many email lists, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, connect with as many people as possible who can teach you and people who you could learn from. Uh, Last thing but not least, do not come with your hands out to people,
yeah,
offer to help in some kind of way. we're,
yeah,
we're in the ages now where when it comes to the entertainment industry as a whole, we're all doing it independently, we're all doing it alone.
yeah,
Even when the writer's strike took place, a lot of actors had to find ways of how are they still gonna keep creating content and putting the content out there and monetizing off that content. Same thing with music and the whole streaming
yeah.
business. So it's just really you have to do a lot of things for yourself, but at the same time learn from others and apply those skill sets to yourself.
And congratulations because you hit 600,000 streams on Spotify, which is pretty amazing.
Thank
Were
you. Thank you.
And I mean, when they told you that, were you happily surprised, or were you like, I knew it was coming?
You know what? I was watching the numbers for a while, but yeah, I didn't know it would reach 600,000. So
Yeah,
that excited me. Like at the moment, I was like, I
yeah,
still have to do like a little celebration party for it, which will probably happen once it gets a little warmer out here.
yeah.
But yeah, I was excited and I was surprised.
Yeah, well, congratulations. I think that's amazing. Okay, so I want to go into a couple of things that you have worked on. So first, let's talk about the Diva workout album. Tell me how that
Yes.
got started, how you figured it out. I mean, it's around health and working out, and tell me how you came up with the whole idea and what's it about.
Yes. So originally I created three songs, Get Loose, Magic, and Swipe Right. And those were just kind of popish R&B songs that I
Yeah,
was, just practicing, playing around with, trying to test my vocals. And the producer, Robot Millennium, we just recorded those three songs and made a couple videos out of those and just tested the waters to see what people's reaction would be.
yeah,
But then what inspired me was, EDM is just it's
yeah,
really popping right now. A lot of people are
yeah,
listening to EDM. Hip hop's incorporating EDM in their style of music. So I said, you know what? Think about all the times when you're at the gym or at a what is it called, like a vitamin store. They're always playing upbeat music, something to
yeah,
get you going, your heartbeat racing.
yep,
And I said, you know what? Let's create an EDM EP. Let's get those three songs, Magic, Swipe Right, and Get Loose, and let's do an EDM mix. So we did an EDM mix. We called it the Diva Workout. and I had a star actress who starred in the workout video, who's actually a fitness guru. Her name's Candace
Awesome.
Kugler. And we did a music video for Get Loose. So we're just showing women in all shapes and sizes who
Yeah.
are getting it in the gym, burning a workout.
Yeah, I watched a couple of the videos, and it's like you had a good mix of women, and it was just like for everybody, and it was you did a really good job. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, and and tell me a little bit about the fashion shows that you'd like to host or that you'd like to be a part of, because I think that's got to be so much fun. I feel I've never
Oh,
been to one,
yeah.
but it sounds like it's would be amazing.
Yeah, so I've been hosting fashion shows since I launched the Beret line, which was 2022. Um, and let me tell you, like as soon as I put out the berets, I was getting calls left to right. Hey, would you like to participate in our fashion show as a vendor, or
Oh,
as one of the models, or one of the fashion designers? I said, yeah, I can do all that, but I would like to host as well.
yeah.
And so I partnered with a couple people, and from then up till now, I've been hosting fashion shows and having models walk in the beret line.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, what's really unique about what I'm doing is anyone who buys my beret, if they're local, they could participate in the fashion show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Exactly. So I'm giving from old people to kids, anybody, any shape, size, ethnic,
Yeah,
nationality, whatever, to walk in the fashion show and feel like a model for that moment. And
that's amazing.
yes, I've really, really brought joy to a lot of people's lives because of that.
Yeah, I mean, and you're in the Bay Area, right? Is that and that's where
Yeah.
you grew up?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Cool. And have you ever thought about coming to the East Coast?
I went to New York that one time. It was it's a pretty crowded, busy city,
Yeah,
but
it
I wouldn't
is.
mind coming back. I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
coming back.
Okay. And I have how did you get started with the berets? Because so and just before I forget,
Hmm.
everybody should go to wear and it's TAMZ, TAMZ.com, WEARTAMZ.com. Check out the berets. They're really cool, different colors. Check them out and let us know what you think. Send me an email and tell me. But how did you get started in that?
Yeah, so it was during COVID, and it's that time where we're all trying to find undiscovered talent of ours,
Yeah.
right? Something to not only keep the cash flow coming, but
Yep.
also to keep relevant with our fans.
Mm-hmm.
So I had said to myself, hey, no one has branded a beret in pop culture, entertainment, or
Yep.
hip hop, or the Black community. So why not? And for sure, I wanted to be the lady of berets, and it's been making noise ever since.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you that I think you should think about skincare because you have really amazing skin. Have you ever
Oh,
thought about
thank
getting into
you.
that?
Not yet, but it's definitely an option.
Yeah, I mean, I think a skincare company should grab you though and like have you represent their brand actually because your skin is really great just from seeing you online and seeing you here. I mean, it's so you should be very thankful that
Oh,
you have the
thank
great
you.
skin. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
what do you have next coming up in your career? Like, what do you have next, like on the radar in the next year or so?
Yeah, so in the next year or so, I'm working with a couple of promotion companies that want to bring me to Africa, as well as Bhutan, which
Okay.
is I think it's like Southeast Asia. I think,
Okay.
well, it's near Singapore. I've
Okay.
never been over there. So
Okay.
we're working on doing a couple tours out that way. And then for the Tams brand, we're also looking at dropping a lipstick glitter line as well.
Awesome.
And then we also want to redesign Tams too, where we're putting certain items or objects on the hat or
Yep.
making different color schemes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, and then again, I'm working on the full length feature film
Okay.
called Lost Horizons. You guys are gonna definitely love that film, and that's really it for right now.
I mean, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's great, and gosh, I can't help but
So
to
I've
keep
been to
busy.
Singapore and other parts of Asia,
Mhm.
and I think you're gonna love it. So just
Okay.
be prepared for some unique food. So you have to really kind of venture out a little bit because
Oh, okay.
you'll see some interesting food in Asia. So um, a- anything else you'd want to kind of tell your fans that you would want them to know, or even new people that don't know who you are, what they should know about you? Like, what's two things that everybody should know about Kelda music?
Yes. So one thing that you should know about me is I love food. Okay, I'm a savory person, not so much
Awesome.
a sweets person.
Okay, I'm the
And
opposite. I love sweets, so
oh gosh, everyone loves sweets.
yeah,
Ah! Another thing about me is that I'm just a cool, fun, loving person. I treat people the way you want to be treated. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And life will be smooth for you. So other than that, you guys can visit
I
my
mean, you
website.
have such
Hmm.
good positive energy. So, everybody,
Same here.
please go out and check out her Kelda Music's website. It's Kelda Kelda, and then it's muzik.com. Uh, you won't believe how much stuff she has going on, and you have your own podcast. That right? You want to talk about
Yes.
that at all?
Yeah, yeah. So I have a podcast called Diva Talk. It
Yep,
stems from the TV show called Diva Talk Tonight, which is streaming on Tubi.
yep,
But yes, now the podcast is Diva Talk, which you can catch on all the major platforms, same platforms you're on, I'm sure.
yeah,
And we just bring on different types of guests that want to talk about their profession. And we also talk about all the latest current events that's going on. And, we don't try to get into politics or anything
I
like
try
that.
to avoid that too, even though it's
Yeah,
very hard.
it's very hard, very, very hard, right? So, we just talk about all the fun things, all the positive things, and what's going to help with personal growth. How things are today for females in the
Yeah.
corporate world, just stuff like that. So,
Do you
yeah.
think things are changing for females in the better, kind of in the corporate world? I mean,
Um,
just like kind of, like women were so underpaid for so long compared to men. Do you think that they're catching up now, or do you think the corporate world is kind of fixing that issue?
I think it's slowly happening, but it's definitely something that's not going to happen overnight. I
Yeah,
think maybe, it could be years from now until we see a change or a major increase to where there's not so many women complaining
yeah.
about being underpaid. Same thing with actors or, with artists. So it's,
I mean, there was one, I can't remember which actress it was, like really super famous A-star actress, and she said that she got like 10% of what the male actors were getting in this movie that she was on. And
hmm
I was shocked. And this,
hmm
it was a major actress, like Oscar winning, and she's just like, yeah, no, I got 10% of what the male actors got. Like that's just how the industry was. She goes, it's improving, but that's where we were then.
yeah.
And
And I think I know who you're talking about because there's a few of them, but yeah, there was one major actress who
and
who said
it's
that. Yeah.
shocking to me that they got away with that Hollywood got away with that for so long. And and the corporate world, I'm glad that women are finally moving in that direction to get equal pay and to get just be treated equally. It's crazy that it happened for this many years.
Right. I mean, hey, we have to get paid too. We're humans too. We're waking up at the crack of dawn
Doing the same amount of work as a man,
doing the
right?
same. Exactly.
If not
Exactly.
more. So
If not more. Right.
so everybody, please go check out Wear Tan. So it's WEARTAMZ.com, and then keldamusic.com, and follow Kelda on Instagram. It's Kelda, KELDAMUZIK. So Kelda Music on Instagram. She's got a lot of great content on there. Follow her, send her a DM, say hi. Maybe she'll write back. Depending, be nice. If you're nice to her, maybe she'll write back. Maybe she won't. But you got a lot of good followers and stuff, and people are really engaged with your content. So it was really so amazing to talk with you. And whenever I found out I was going to get to talk with you, I was excited about it, and I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. This has been great. And hopefully we can talk again.
Yeah, let's talk before or after you get back from Asia. I would love to talk with you and hear about your experience and what you thought about that.
Okay. Yes, for sure. You got it. I'll bring clips and everything.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being on, and thanks everybody for listening. And be sure to subscribe to my podcast and to Kilda's podcast. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.